if you're not failing, you're not trying anything. My name is Silas Adekunle. I'm a robotics engineer, a robotics entrepreneur. Check me out. I was born in Ibadan, and then we moved to Osun State. And growing up, the things I loved was wildlife, which we have an abundance of in Nigeria. My mom was a medical nurse, and UK had this outreach program where they were they had a shortage of nurses and inviting nurses and these types of programs. So that my mom traveled. We were home with my dad, and then eventually we all went over to go and join her. We all went there. I think we arrived in January. It's winter. It was cold. I remember very well, like growing up and going to school, and someone's like, "Oh, do you have a cow? Do you ride a cow? Do you live in huts?" And I'm just like, "What videos are you guys watching? Where are you getting all these stories from? Like Nigerians, they have cities. What are you thinking? We grew up going to church and dancing and things like that. That's part of your culture. Over there, things are a lot more calm, toned down. You can't just turn up at someone's house. You have to ring ahead of time. You can't just play in the streets. So a few different things. So you look at all of the positives and you see some of the negatives. I went to university to study robotics, and I was also a big gamer. So I love gaming. So the things that we were learning about robots, I think, well, this thing is perfect to teach maths and sciences, and it's a lot more exciting than all of the boring stuff that we've been learning. So why don't we use robotics to teach these fundamental principles? And then the thing I did differently was, okay, sometimes robotics can be boring. Well, why don't we add gaming as a layer on top of that? So you're not just building a robot, you're building a video game character that can then, like Mortal Kombat or something that can battle each other, things like that. And then I saw that idea picked up in the classroom. The students were a lot more interested, things like that. This kids that would normally bully each other, argue, they were a lot more interested. Then I looked around at the toy industry. At the time, it was like, you buy a robot, it's not really a robot. It's not like something that you see in a movie. It's just this thing that just goes, it's very basic. Why can't we take this idea and use it in the toy industry and change the type of toys that people see? Why can't you see something in a movie and say, I want to create that and actually bring it to life? So that was the start of a 6-year journey to then create a company called Reach Robotics. And over the life of the company, raised north of $15 million. We're generating millions of revenue. We had a distribution deal with Apple, which is one of the biggest consumer electronics company in the world. Personally, in terms of the journey, that also allowed me to think, look, anything you set your mind to, you can create, you can bring to life. And that was the foundation for, well, why don't we do this on a bigger scale? Why don't we start looking at how we can get robotics onto the African continent, enable robotics on the African continent, which is what now involved in that.
All right, we just looked at a nice video about Silas Adekunle and how he's a top engineer. He's trying to get engineering all over Africa for education, and he deals with robotics in gaming. He's pretty awesome at what he does, and that was a really cool video. So I'm going to move forward to the next slide because I wanted to talk about 2 examples of Silas's robots, these gaming robots. So I have 3 questions, and I want to call up 3 students to get involved with these robots and answer these questions. So I'm going to pause here, and we're back. Awesome job, guys. Those are some kickboard points. Okay, so next thing that we're going to get involved with is we had talked about symmetry. Now we're going to talk about prototypes. Prototypes are something that serves as a model or inspiration for those that come later. We will be making an illustrated prototype, a drawing of our robot, and the functions that our robot has. For example, here's a student's first robot, and here's an engineer's robot. So it all starts somewhere. So as you can see, we have the actual model of the robot, and then we have the functions, and it's showing parts of those functions. So without further ado, let's go and start drawing our own prototypes. Let's go, guys. Our example of a prototype, and we have 2 robots here, for example. I'm going to put one over to Lil's side. So here's the example of 2 right here. You can see them.
All right. Now, I wanted to go over this one because I just want to show you the final product and what we need to start thinking about when we're doing our prototype. So if I move this all over and I just show you him, it's a him. He identifies as a he. It's a triangle body. We have 2 arms. They both have symmetry. And then I thought to myself, what do I want my robot to do? So we have 3 questions down here. So just be thinking about them before you draw. So we have, my robot can help others buy and minds finding trash on different planets and collecting it. So he's actually on a different planet. And I said, my robot has special features like, he's hard titanium metal, extremely smart, and he's waterproof. My robot was designed for cleaning up environments. So that's how this robot helps out others. And then we have right here these different features. So I actually point the lines to the different features. So he has large radar right here. He can see miles away with these big giant eyes. He can smash trash with his teeth. And over here it says he has night vision, can fly from jets on his feet. So here's the jets on his feet. So we have a few specifications that you have to do with your robot on your prototype sheet. You have to think about what kind of body type you want, the arms and legs, and the feet. And we're gonna go over that now. So before we even do that, Lily has written her name, Lily Trout's up here. You're gonna write your name in Design Engineer. So I am going to give you like 10 seconds now to write your name. And go. And you can write that in crayon, doesn't really matter. So now here we go. So our first thing is, I'm gonna get myself a empty prototype sheet. And I thought this is so cool. We are MU Artificial Intelligence Robots Design Studio. So I just thought that was pretty cool. So now for our first step, we're gonna design the body. And without further ado, I need you to get out your yellow crayon out of your bag, or white. So it could be yellow or white because those turn up really easily. And Lil's using bright green. So I'm going to allow that too because it's extremely bright. So it has to be one of these bright colors. So the best to use is yellow and white. And this bright green is quite bright, so that's fine too. It shows up nicely on the black. So I'm gonna give you on the count of 10 also to get that crayon out. Just hold it up for me, guys, so I know that you have it. And that's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's move forward. So we have our yellow crayon. Right now we have to think about what is in the middle right here. Where's the middle? So it's right here. And this is the cool part of this project. I'm going to give you 3 options. Lil, don't go yet. I have to tell them, I want to give you 3 options. You can use a triangle, a circle for the robot's body, or a rectangle. So we're going to use shape here. I'm going to go with the rectangle. Lil, what are you going to go with?
Rectangle.
You're going to go with a rectangle too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're both using rectangles. So here I have a rectangle for my body. It's bright yellow. So you guys make sure you have that rectangle, or you have a square. Lil's is a little larger. Let me show you what it would look like if we had I'm going to use another prototype sheet. If I had a triangle body, it would be here. So you can also do the triangle body. You just need a body here, and it has to be a triangle, a circle, or a rectangle. So there's 2 right there. Now, have legs. So your legs do have to be attached to your body. I'm going to use 2 legs. And I'm going to draw 4 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do that now. All right. So our next step, we're coming back in 3, in 2, in 1. And our next step is our legs or our feet that would be attached to the legs. So we have our legs, but then we're going to have some sort of feet. Now, I'm going to do the triangle 1, 2, because I only have a couple specifications for this robot, and that is that you have a body, you have legs that have symmetry. Anything you do on one side, you're going to do on the other. And now we have these legs, we're going to attach some feet. My feet, believe it or not, I want them to be circles because I want it to be able to roll my robot, this one. So I'm going to have circles here. You decide what you want your feet to look like. I'm going to give you 2 options. But you can actually design them how you want. They just have to have symmetry. So whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. So I have 3 circles here. I'm going to do 3 circles here. And on the triangle, I'm going to do legs that go down with lines, and then I'm going to close them, and I'm going to have legs that go like this for my robot. So this robot rolls, this robot doesn't. Okay, next thing that you need to have is arms. So I am going to ask that you have arms come out of your robot on both sides. So I'm going to have one little digit right here. It's a half circle and another half circle on this side. With my triangle, I'm going to do the same thing. Half circle, half circle. Lil has her arms coming down. Whatever she does on one side, she does on the other. And she has some claws. Look really good. Okay. So now I'm going to draw my lines that come down, and the arms shoot out of those half circles. And I'm going to do the same on my triangle because it has symmetry. And I'm going to pause there to check that everybody has understanding about what we're doing and we're all okay. So we're going to raise the roof on 3 at level 0. So raise the roof, 3, 2, and 1. And we're back. Lil, let's take a look at yours because yours is completely different than mine. Mm-hmm. And what do you think, what was your thinking there for symmetry?
Well, mine has like sneakers and they're both the same sneakers.
Very nice.
And the arms, they're both the same because they both do the same things.
Right, but where's the area where they both do the same thing? Like I see a claw
like
here.
The claws, yeah, they both.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I just want them to understand if they did one claw here, they would do
they both on the legs and the arms, it both has like the rolly things that robots have.
Right. In fact, I want to add those rolly things with them now. So now we're going to add lines going down the arms. But however many lines you do on one side, you're going to do on the other. I'm going to do it with my triangle man too. Okay. And I'm going to have, you think I'm missing something?
No, I just want to ask if I want to do like accessories, can I do them?
Yes, and that's going to be later. Yes, they can do accessories. Very good question. So here I have, I'm going to add claws on mine so that my robot can pick the things up. But you can do different hands as long as both sides are the same. I'm just showing you how you can use a triangle or a rectangle, or this is a square. Now, eyes are different too. So I'm going to pause right now just to make sure everybody has their arms done, they've picked out their feet, and they have their body. So this is what we need to have right now. You have your arms done, you picked out your feet, you've drawn them, and you have your body. And pause. And we're back. Okay, here's the cool part. You can do a couple type of eyes. What were you thinking, Lil? You want your eyes to be big or small?
I want to make mine kind of like a box, and then the face goes in here. You know, like one of those like the digital faces that pop up inside of the box.
Okay, so I think it's a good idea now. Idea, get it? Haha. It's a good idea now to build your eyes. So I'm going to give you an idea of how I'm doing my eyes, but you can do yours differently as long as they have symmetry and they match. So I am going to have one of those rectangular eye faces on my robot on this one. And then on the triangle, I'm going to do one big circle. And I'm going to have a line going through it so his eyes would look like this. On here, I'm going to have a line going through my eyes. And I'm going to have 2 circles for the eyes inside. Now we haven't started coloring yet. Now we just have the body, but I want to get to that. I just want to get to the base here. We have a base robot now. I'm going to keep on drawing, but what I want you to do, I'm going to fast forward this as we color these in. I want you to make your robot background the way you want. I want to see the background where the robot is. For instance, this robot was on a planet and this robot was on like a grassy knoll, grassy hill. So those are 2 different options right there, but you can use, I want you to pick out your own. I want to end here at the base model because I want to see you draw your robot to the specifications that you want your robot for your prototype. So you can watch us, but we're going to fast forward, and here we go.